Mariam Mokhtar punya video is defective because it's on the underlying presumption that Zahid is guilty, is on the underlying presumption that this government is backpedaling on corruption. Kok mana? The foremost flaw of Mariam Mokhtar's video on this matter are a few. Number one, the way she talks, she based her premise on the fact that Zahid is guilty. I do not know where it comes from. At best, it probably comes from the fact that Justin Collins Sekira established a prima facie case against Zahid. But if you look at so many other court cases where eventually the accused is acquitted, it is not before there was actually a prima facie case established well ahead of the trial. So therefore, establishment of a prima facie case does not tantamount to guilt. If it is, then there should not be a trial, there should not be prosecution, defense, cross-examination and ruling, tak payah. Once judge decide prima facie case, terus hantar ke jail. That is, kalau people want to argue that a person is guilty, straight away guilty and should be treated so in the event that prima facie case is found against them. Okay, so let's not forget, Syed Saddiq pun, case dia pun also prima facie case established, also ordered to enter into defense. But can I say now that Syed Saddiq is guilty? Boleh? Tak boleh kan? He's got to go to trial kan? Syed Saddiq punya narrative pun dia fitnah. Narrative Syed Saddiq is that dia difitnah because dia refuse to join bersatu. Now Zahid also now have that same narrative, same kind of narrative. Dia refuse to bubar UMNO and because of that, dia discharged. So what gives more credence to Syed Saddiq punya assertions than Zahid punya assertions? I am no defender of Zahid, but I'm just comparing apples to apples. Why? Because Zahid ada 47 charges, Syed Saddiq ada 1. Is that the measure? So the point is, a crime is a crime lah. Kalau Syed Saddiq masuk jail 1 tahun, Zahid masuk 10 tahun, still masuk jail juga. Dua-dua convict. Dua-dua tak boleh jadi MP lagi dah. Dua-dua criminal. So, it's just the degree of things. But why you now give different treatment? Okay? Next thing is that Mariam also kata that, DNA ni doesn't mean that lepas. Dia masuk dia indefinitely postpone. Tahu pun. You tahu pun is indefinitely postpone. Bukannya temporarily suspended. Jadi, you pun tahu that Zahid bukan lepas terus. So, now why do you think so? Maknanya, you also accept the narrative that prosecution perlu masa untuk investigate lebih, and that's what the prosecution dah submit pun pada court. They want to kaji lebih menyeluruh. Tapi sekarang ni, apa yang Syed Saddiq berani bercakap? Dia berani apa? Dia berani fitnah. Dia tak ada information, dia tak tahu apa dia, kenapa ada DNA, dia tak nampak apa representation. So therefore, of course, Syed Saddiq deserves to be lambasted and condemned. Mariam Mokhtar also doing the same. Buruk untuk negara. Apa yang buruk dia kalau representasi dibuat? 8 kali dia buat representation and AG eventually accept the representation and decided together with the authorities that further investigation is required, that the charges were rushed. So therefore, you still kata suspended. So why? You nak kata benda ni buruk, the optics is not good, bad for the country, and Syed Saddiq berani bercakap, and you are implying that hypocrisy untuk all the otai-otai politics who's not saying a word. Why should they say a word? Everything is going according to procedures, according to whatever the prosecution decided to do, and that is happening and occurring now. So therefore, yang Syed Saddiq nak bising, nak hentam kerajaan, keluar kerajaan to swap, is premature. You don't even know what is happening. Zahid is not acquitted yet. He's just discharged for now. You sendiri kata discharged. But then, you kata macam seolah-olah dia lepas. Make up your mind. Decide what you want to say. You want to say dia lepas ke? Pasal kau tak lepas lagi, itu apa yang travesty of justice dia? Where? Where is the travesty of justice? Apa salahnya kalau prosecution perlukan lebih masa? MACC perlu buat lebih siasatan lebih menyeluruh. No stones to be unturned. So, what can we wait for that? What can we press for that? Rather than to criticize the government, criticize the PM on backpedaling on whatever his promises are. You kata dulu, kata nak lawan rasuah. Yeah, precisely. So, kata nak uphold the rule of law. Precisely. This is what the AG says he's going to do. This is what PM is saying the AG wants to do. Maknanya to uphold the law, to tengok what is the problem. Lah ni there's allegations against Mahathir. Mahathir apparently campur tangan, threatened and did something. So Zahid came back with their narrative. That narrative, surely kalau AG terima bulat-bulat, AG acquit dia. Tapi AG tak terima bulat-bulat. AG terima and now AG orders investigation. So, bila investigate, outcome dia could be Zahid kencing. Zahid menipu. Kalau Zahid menipu, this thing will boomerang and like MARIAM MOKHTA'Rs says, temporarily suspended, it will resume and he will be recharged kalau dia kencing. Tapi kalau whatever he says betul and difitnah ke apa ke, then there is further evidence. Further evidence all go into the same basket. Termasuklah whatever the trials that happen, the prosecution punya witnesses, the defense witnesses, whatever they say, termasuk the prima facie case and the grounds of judgment of Justin Collins Sekira, semua tu tengok balik and they all have to be reconciled. Kalau boleh reconcile and the outcome is to acquit Zahid because of the information yang ada and everything is reconciled, then rakyat nak bising apa? Where would Syed Saddiq punya bising be? Tetapi kalau tak boleh reconcile, then I already suggested this should go back to court. Bring everything, the new evidence, whatever you discover, whatever findings from the RCI on Tommy Thomas punya memoir, whatever further outcome of MACC punya further investigation now, whatever AG review on the charges ke apa ke, bring that all back to the table. Based on also whatever the trial so far has developed, outcome has come. This got to be matched. This got to be reconciled. Kalau tak boleh, bawa pada court. Get Justin Collins Sekira to reconcile. Because ultimately, Justin Collins Sekira must look at everything. Termasuk benda yang baru yang dapat ni. Because he agreed. He ordered. Dia buat judgment on DNA. Dia akan tengok semua holistically. And lepas tu dia evaluate now. Ultimately, bagi habis the court punya proceedings and decide now Zahid guilty or not guilty. No complication. At the end of the day, kalau katakan this is not done and this whole thing is a charade, just trying to pull the wool over rakyat punya head, I will join Syed Saddiq. I will agree with Syed Saddiq kalau benda ni is to pull the wool over everybody's eyes, nak menipu, and this will be offset any kind of reforms that PMX wants to do. So tak boleh lah untuk melepaskan Zahid. I tak setuju untuk melepaskan Zahid in order to keep the government. No, tak boleh. Tapi kalau is delayed because to make sure that the investigation is holistic and all Zahid punya narrative and allegations can either be debunked or affirmed, I'm all for it. I'm all for the suspension. In fact, suspension of Guide Zahid punya case, yes, indeed, prolongs the currency of Madani punya government punya rule in this country. Yes, let's make no pretense. We all know that. But that cannot be the motivation lah. Okay, for now, there's no evidence that that's the motivation. In order for the government to stay put, postpone indefinitely Zahid punya case. Tak. Jadi sekarang ni, what we can do as rakyat, what we should all train our guns on is now you kata nak investigate, now nak buat RCI, what's happening to that? We want to know, we want updates. We want to see progress. Because at the end of the day, kalau katakanlah misalnya kata you menipu, pendakwa raya menipu, Zahid menipu, PMX menipu, we want to find that out soon. But we cannot conclude before the process is complete. So this is, for example, orang punya isu dengan Syed Saddiq. You jump into conclusion, you terus conclude, number one, Zahid is guilty. You conclude that this government terus nak lepaskan Zahid. You conclude that pendakwa raya, backpedal. Where? Tak ada basis. Bila tak ada basis, is fitnah. So therefore, memang ambil kesempatan. Bukan berani. You berani memfitnah. Sedangkan you sendiri ada kes and you sendiri kena defend. So why should we assume that Zahid is guilty and Syed Saddiq is innocent? Why? On what basis? Because of our political lineage. That is not being objective. That is not being fair. Point is, neither Zahid nor Syed Saddiq has been convicted. And they should not be treated as convicts. And therefore, for one person that's potentially going to be convicted, talking about another potentially going to be convicted person as though they're guilty, that is hypocrisy. Itulah hypocrite. And to me, the way is delivered so rude. So that's why this person is not liked by many, while some people extol him as berani. So I feel terpanggil to put matter into perspective and I hope it's clarified. Mariam Mokhtar punya video is defective because it's on the underlying presumption that Zahid is guilty, is on the underlying presumption that this government is backpedaling on corruption. Kok mana? When in the same breath she's saying that this is a temporary suspension of Zahid punya case. Again, conflicting whatever she is saying. This is my 2 cents worth.